Mildred. Written by Pat Zelenka. Read by the author. Mildred finally had to admit it. She was a spinster. She truly thought for her entire life that she would be a married woman with children and grandchildren, a handsome husband, envious friends, great birthdays, vacations, and, well, none of that turned out. And it wasn't for lack of trying or crying. Mildred had a lot of friends in her local community, and she kept busy. Kept her mind positive. Mildred owned her own home, her own car, a beautiful dog, and 2 beautiful cats. She enjoyed their company. She knew she should really be in love with someone, but who would want a woman her age? She didn't want a roommate. Mildred guessed she must be a loner, but not in a scary sense, like Clint Eastwood in High Plains Drifter. Just a normal loner, so to speak. She woke up each day, showered, brushed her teeth, did her hair and makeup, and went about her day. Sometimes she would go to the library, the post office, or the grocery store. There was a fine, quaint little store in her community where you could buy handmade soaps and such. She liked going there. The old movie theater from her childhood was still there, and she would always go see a movie there when she had the chance. She wasn't much of a cook, but microwave meals were easy enough to prepare. When she was really sick of those, she'd eat in a local restaurant. Mildred did not prefer women sexually. She preferred men, but this had never come to anything. As a teen and early 20-something, Mildred had experienced the usual fumblings with boys in the back seats of cars, groping in the pool, and her parents' basement. But she'd never had a boy or a young man claim her as their own. She tried to maintain a quiet dignity of sorts. Mildred felt like there was a hollowness inside of her. But she didn't like to think of that. It frightened her. Living alone was a double-edged sword. On the one hand, no one told her what to do, and she was her own boss. On the other hand, being alone was so hard. The loneliness was unbearable, and her heart ached every day. Mildred was concerned about the next 20 years or so of her life. What would happen to her as she grew older? Age 65? Age 75? Age 85? This frightened Mildred more than anything. Many of her family members had lived for a long time, especially her mom and dad, who lived well into their 90s. Mildred expected that, barring any unforeseen catastrophic health events, she too would live long. But alone? Of course, Mildred had emotional desires and physical needs, but she met those herself as best she could. Mildred had read about many famous women over time who had lived alone, but those women had staff and money to maintain themselves into old age. As Mildred got older, she began to wonder, is this all there is? Is this all that I am? Am I here just to live, breathe, eat, and then die? This seemed incomprehensible to her. And so, Mildred looked at herself in the mirror by her front door. She'd always kept a full-length mirror by her front door. She'd always felt it best to check your appearance before you left your home and went about your business for the day. As she looked in the mirror today, she tried to really look at herself, objectively. Time had taken so much, and yet she felt that time had actually added so much more. Yes, the laugh lines and crow's feet were there, but they were there for everyone her age. Mildred stood 5'3", weighed around 150 pounds, but to her eye, She seemed to have filled out in the right places. Her graying hair was dyed black, and she thought it took some of the years away. So Mildred took a deep breath, grabbed her purse and her keys, and walked out the door.